Alright, so let me start this video by saying Alrecchino, top 3 DPS in the game, maybe the best depending on the situation, and that situation really comes down to the abyss. Depending on the content, it will dictate who is the best because, let's be honest, there are some characters in this game who aren't really favored in this abyss right now, especially Alrecchino, and she's doing a really good job, so just saying. So, hey everyone, hope everyone is doing well. In this video here, I'm going to give you my final thoughts about Alrecchino, and yes, I finally start pronouncing her name correctly. I explained it in previous videos why I pronounced it Alrecchino and not Alrecchino, but you know what? Let me don't make a fuss about it. Let's start this video talking about some of her pros, and I'll get into some of her cons that some of you are facing with her. Her damage ceiling is like really high, like I couldn't believe, especially for like a mono pyro team, she was hitting like over 100,000 slashes, and that isn't with her best in slot weapon and not with her best in slot artifact set. It's rare for me to take a character and clear the abyss at level 70, and she was doing that on day 1. So immediately I was impressed with her. Whether it be mono pyro, vaporize, overload, or just going against the meta and using characters that I like with her. Hell, she even had me enjoying using characters that I don't even use anymore, like they're just collecting dust in the bench. And I'm just here just testing and having fun at the same time. And that's because her damage ceiling is so high, you don't really see that it's falling off in any way. And of course, she has some teams that will favor her damage more than others, but for the general use, especially in the open world, like to be honest, who's really going to bring their old meta-ass team in the open world? To kill what? A slime? A hilichurl? So you might as well just have fun, and this is what this character does for me. What I mostly like about her is how flexible this unit is. So when I got her, I started looking around trying to find the best teammates I could use with her. And then I started slowly realizing that unlike certain characters in this game, she isn't locked behind double hydro, double geo. You need a swirler, you don't need a swirler, you need more resistance to interruption, or hell, even if you need a healer, because in combat she doesn't heal. So that's one little point I need to make there. She doesn't need a healer. You are mainly putting a healer in this team for your other teammates because the only source of healing she gets is from herself. But then again, Bennett is so damn broken, that's why we use him. He cannot heal her, but the attack buff is just so damn massive to overlook. So these two things kind of cancels out itself. So it's up to you if you want more attack bonus or you want to run another sub DPS in the team to make up for it. Now, one awesome thing that Alrecchino has in her kit is that her infusion isn't based on a timer. It's based on the hits. So you know, like when you're doing a rotation with your Emiya and you maybe have to dodge because you didn't bring a shielder in the team, and you have to dodge out the way and then your pyro infusion finishes. You don't have that problem with Alrecchino because it's based on your hits on the enemy. So you could dodge as much as you want. One massive thing is that you could swap out while doing an attack chain with her and re-swirl or apply some buff or drop your off-field sub DPS skill, burst, wherever it is, and then go back with her and continue the attack. So yes, her elemental skill is 30 seconds long, where every time you attack, it keeps going down. But you don't lose her pyro infusion state, unlike every other character in this game. The only character that keeps their infusion is Noelle, but that's based on her burst. Well, I haven't really used Noelle that much, but that has a duration. But what about Alrecchino's uptime? Honestly, it feels like she has 100% uptime in her infusion, despite her skill having 30 seconds long cooldown. Even if you have to swap into another character because you may be taking some damage, so you want to get away from an attack from a certain enemy, that timer is going down. And then when you swap back into her, when you start attacking, because you have to attack with her, it's going down even faster. By the time she runs out of her infusion, her skill is up again. There are multiple instances where her skill was up and I was just midway into using her. To skill or not to skill? And yes, you have to let it cook for 5 seconds. 5 seconds. How long do you think it takes for you to do an elemental skill or elemental burst with your support and do all those dancing around before you go into your main DPS? It takes more than 5 seconds. And depending on the situation, I don't even let it cook. If the enemy has low HP, I'm going in with her. And about her burst, a lot of players have regarded this as a disadvantage because it takes like 4 seconds. That's iframes. That's 4 seconds of iframes. But it doesn't do big damage. Oh yeah? What artifacts that you're using on her? Gladiators. What does gladiators buff? Normal attacks. Okay, maybe it's not the biggest amount of damage, but look at what it does. It heals her. You get 4 seconds of invincibility frames, and then it resets your elemental skill. I have come across a couple players that have used her burst and hit over 500,000 damage. Vaporize, of course. Phantom Hero is one of them. I'm sure Kinkle has pulled it off as well. And now we got Void with a C2 Alrecchino. He's gonna flex on us so hard. I'm gonna leave their YouTube down below. Some really good guys I met recently, and they have a podcast every Saturday, so I drop the link for it on the night that they go live. Now for about 5 minutes I've only been stating pros, so let me get into some cons with her. But is it really flat out cons? Because majority of these things could be fixed if you know what you are doing. Okay, first up, Alrecchino is squishy because she cannot heal, but that's not really the main problem. She could only heal with her burst, but when you use her burst you have to go in back with the elemental skill because it removes the bond of life, and when you do the elemental skill you either want to let it cook, so most likely you want to swap out and then swap back in with her after 5 seconds. So yes, she could heal with her burst, but she has a little bit of downtime when she does that. Now this all comes down to the team that you are using. Ask anybody, ask any Terry crafter, what's the biggest disadvantage of using a shielder? It's a DPS loss. Alright? Do you get a DPS loss with Alrecchino? I don't really think so, bro. I've recently started watching this Terry crafter called Jay Stern. He's like so dedicated in making these kind of videos. It's amazing. He has been live for like hours upon hours every single day, and he recently dropped the Alrecchino post-release calculations. So the best team that he had was a Overload C6 Chevreuse team that was doing 1.4 million damage, or a C0 Chevreuse Overload team that was doing 1.19 million damage. Guess the team with a Zhongli shield was doing, that's with Alrecchino, Yelan and Bennett. It was doing 1.14 million damage. Is that really a DPS loss, or is that a wallet gain? Because I don't really think that 80% of the community has a C6 Chevreuse. I don't. So it's comparable to her best team. I think we are so fixed with complaining than finding a solution for ourselves. Okay, let's talk about some of the other DPSs in this game. First up, Hu Tao. You mainly want to have Hu Tao below 50% HP. I don't know if you guys were around when Hu Tao first came out, but that was the big debate with her, is that she's too squishy. You need to keep her below 50%. And it's not like exact 50%. Majority of the time she has like a third or maybe a quarter of her health. If you didn't have a good shielder like Zhongli, it was over for her. That was the biggest concern with Hu Tao. But look at it now. We are using Hu Tao in teams that we didn't even imagine. Imagine keeping Hu Tao above 50% to do plunge. But what about Neuvillette? If you have a C0 Neuvillette and you don't have a shielder, you lose out on DPS when you get hit. He knocks back, and it's not like you could continue because he already consumed the orbs. He can't go back and do anything anymore. You have to either wait until the elemental skill is back up or funnel back some energy for his burst. So I don't know why everybody is complaining so much. She's not the first DPS that I have heard these things. I have heard this multiple times. Now if shielding her was like a really big concern because there was a big damage drop off, then I would agree, but it isn't. Maybe it's not a Alrecchino problem, it's maybe a you problem. You know who is really great with Alrecchino? My boy Rez is going to enjoy me saying this. Daya. I'm just saying. You should try it out. So yes, I would agree with you. I have died multiple times using this character, maybe more than usual, but it's until when I started experimenting and learning how to use her properly, to be honest, I don't find a problem anymore. I'm not saying that she's perfect, but which DPS is? Every single DPS in this game has at least one flaw, but it all could be fixed depending on if you want to find the solution. So if there's a hard content where I keep dying with her, I use a shielder. Learn the enemy's mechanics, learn how to dodge, and that could probably solve all of your issues that you are having with her. If you truly believe that she isn't really strong, go and look over your build, please. Please. I have been getting some comments recently saying that she isn't that good. She's mediocre at best. Bro, trust me when I tell you this. Top 3 DPS in this game may be the best depending on the situation. Be very careful of certain content creators and streamers in this game. They are biased just like all of us. I gain nothing by saying that this unit is strong. I do not have no cult followings. I do not make no money off this game. I do not make no money from YouTube. Everything that I state in my videos are from my experiences only. If you have been around long enough, you know how real I keep things over here. If I was truly dissatisfied with this unit and found major flaws that couldn't be fixed, I would have been the first one calling it out. Now, before I leave, I would state this is not a character for everybody. Depending on what you have on your account, she may not be free to play friendly for you. If you are some of those players who listen to those content creators who said, Zhongli isn't good anymore, you do not need Kazuha, blah blah blah, take the L, bro. Just take the L. Remember what you guys always tell me? Genshin Impact is in a game that's focused on the Spiral Abyss. If you truly having problem using this character in the open world, it's not a character problem. I'm just saying. And well, yeah, to be honest, I can't really find much more flaws with her. She doesn't have an energy problem. Her damage is really high. She synergizes with a lot of units. She has access to like so many teams. You know, it's up to your imagination. I know what's one good thing about this character. She could only get better with time. I'm just saying. So yeah, this is my final thoughts about Alrecchino. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Hit the like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.